The way this Red Sox team is being put together, I feel, is a spit in the face to Red Sox fans everywhere. This team hasn't been good. I do not like when teams half-ass roster building. They lack an identity. Are you rebuilding or are you contending? Because if you stay stuck in the middle, fans of big market teams especially, they're not going to be for that. If you lay out a plan and you stick to that plan, the fans will get behind you. Once you lose fan support, a lot of things start going south. Red Sox fans do love their baseball team, and they continue to fill Fenway Park when the Red Sox play. The city and fans everywhere love this team. But when it feels like the team doesn't love its fans back, that's when it starts being an issue. There's some reasons that are completely out of the Red Sox control as why they've been a disappointment. The front office hired Chaim Bloom to get them under the luxury tag and rebuild the farm system while still trying to remain competitive. It's really hard to try to be a team like the Dodgers, who can pretty much get whoever they want. They have money for days, so they can pay the luxury tax, and they're always at the top when it comes to payroll. They can afford it. Red Sox fans were sold on the idea that Chaim Bloom was gonna work the Rays magic just on a bigger budget. That hasn't been working. You get Hunter Renfroe from Tampa Bay, who had an absolutely abysmal season during the shortened 2020 season for them. And he comes to Boston and he lights it up, especially in the second half. He was absolutely phenomenal, absolutely mashed at the plate, and he had a cannon for an arm. Hunter Renfroe was my favorite player last year. He was my favorite player to watch anyway, besides Rafi. They traded him to Milwaukee for 2 prospects and Jackie Bradley Jr., who's no longer with the team. They don't re-sign Kyle Schwarber, solidified on a great Red Sox offense last year that made it all the way to the ALCS. And now Kyle Schwarber is hitting bombs out there in Philadelphia. He calmed that offense down and allowed them to be more patient and add more protection in that lineup. Besides Rafael Devers, who's been leading the team in almost every offensive category, Xander Bogaerts has been having a down year when it comes to power numbers. He's hit more than 30 doubles. He has a really good batting average. Everything else is fine. It's just the lack of the home run ball not being there. JD Martinez, the same thing. JD has not looked like the JD that Red Sox fans are used to, and honestly, I do not see JD Martinez on the Red Sox past this season. I honestly believe they should have traded him at the trade deadline. Trevor Story, he's been hurt, along with Kike Hernandez, who's been hurt as well. It's been a lot of injuries throughout the Red Sox, both on the pitching side and on the offensive side. It has really challenged Red Sox depth, and it's something that the Red Sox don't have. Christian Arroyo playing every day with Trevor Story being out, playing in all different sorts of positions, trying to fill that utility guy role that Brock Holt left. Had Jarren Duran playing out there in center field, and that's kind of been more or less a nightmare for him. For the Eric Hosmer trade, they were using Bobby over there. They were using Franchi Cordero, who's been red hot, but that's been his thing. He's been inconsistent. He'd be on a hot streak and then be on a cold streak. It's just peaks and valleys with him. What we wanted to address is the pitching, and that's been the Red Sox issue. Even in that 2021 team, offense was carrying the pitching that entire postseason. There was really nobody in that Red Sox rotation and that pitching staff that could really say was going to lock down. And that's why I say the 2021 team overachieved. Even in that ALCS series against the Astros, the Red Sox hit grand slam after grand slam. The Red Sox offense last year in the postseason was awesome. And then it went cold at the wrong time, and they don't end up going to the World Series. Ever since that 2018 team, that bullpen has not been the same. When the Red Sox were good, or at least everybody in that Red Sox bullpen and that Red Sox pitching staff was clicking. 2022, the Red Sox have no one in that bullpen who can be looked at as a stopper. The instability of their closer role, they don't have a legit closer. Garrett Whitlock could have easily been that guy. They made Garrett Whitlock a starter, which ruined him for a bit, and now he's having to build his way back up, trying to get back on that path of him being a lockdown closer. I can't view Chris Sale as the Red Sox ace anymore until he can keep himself on the field and he can actually get back to show everyone what kind of player he was before he got hurt, what kind of player the Red Sox traded for. Pitching has been the Red Sox's kryptonite. As good as the Red Sox offense has been, pitching can't pick it up. The pitching fails the offense 9 times out of 10 with this team. That loss against the Rays puts it in a nutshell right there. Because 4 runs can win you a baseball game, absolutely. But when you're giving up 12 runs on the other end, can't put in pressure like that on offense day in and day out. It's a month left in the season, and a majority of the games going into September are against American League East teams. So if the Red Sox hypothetically have a really good September, they can find their way into the postseason. Do I want the Red Sox to make the postseason? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The way this team is right now, absolutely not. A lot more pain would come with that because the offense, again, will have to carry the pitching. And I just don't believe that the Red Sox as a team have it in them. This year is not the year, and quite honestly, it will probably be better for this team overall. Get a quick reality check and miss the playoff. After that loss with the Rays, they now decide to try to address the bullpen situation, DFAing Austin Davis, who probably should have been gone by May. And Sawamura to, I feel, a lesser extent, because for the most part, when I was watching Red Sox games and they would be down a few runs, they would have him bite the bullet. I feel they kind of set him up for failure with a lot of the times they called him in. And other times, at the end of the day, it's more, you got to be able to get outs. I don't think it's Alex Cora's fault either. People up top giving him this team that he has to work with and kind of make magic out of it. If the pitching's not stable, it puts a lot more pressure on the offense to put up 5, 6 to 10 runs every day, game in and game out, and that's just not sustainable. Doesn't matter how good of a team you are. After all that talking, and I didn't even address the fact that Rafael Devers and Xander Bogaerts, their contracts are coming up, and Xander has a player option, and I believe Rafi's a free agent after next season. If you botch both of them and not keeping them around long term, this team is looking at disaster in the very, very next few years. Red Sox fans are getting restless, and I don't blame them.
The front office is going to feed you bullshit. Here's the bottom line. The Red Sox are not trying to win baseball games right now. It's just evident. It's obvious. They didn't bring back Renfroe. They didn't try to keep Schwarber. And now they're not even playing their best 26 guys.